We're kicking off things with the long-awaited debut of Hikuleo, who has finally stepped into a WWE ring after more than a year of silence. The younger brother of Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, both key players in Solo Sikoa's new version of the Bloodline, quietly made his in-ring debut before SmackDown even went live on June 13, 2025 in Lexington, Kentucky. As reported earlier, speculation began swirling hours ahead of the show, with multiple sources confirming that Hikuleo was backstage. Fans online immediately began buzzing, hoping for a surprise appearance on SmackDown. However, WWE opted for a softer launch, having the former NJPW star debut on Main Event in a match pre-taped prior to the live broadcast. Wrestling under the name Hikuleo, which was displayed in his entrance graphics, the towering Samoan secured a quick win over Pretty Deadly's Kit Wilson, showcasing his power and presence in what many are calling a dominant introduction. Hikuleo's signing was first reported shortly after Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa joined WWE in 2024. Sources confirmed that he had left New Japan Pro Wrestling and signed with WWE, yet for over a year he remained off of television until now. And the timing of his debut couldn't be more strategic. One of the biggest shocks at Money in the Bank came when Jacob Fatu betrayed Solo Sikoa, sending shockwaves through the Bloodline. This week on SmackDown, Fatu addressed his decision, only to be interrupted by Sikoa and newcomer JC Mateo. Sikoa warned Fatu that he'd better be ready to say the words "I love you, Solo" when they meet face-to-face next week, or there will be consequences. With the WWE Universe already rallying behind Fatu as a fan favorite, reversing course may not be so easy. And to counter Fatu's growing popularity and defiance, it's a no-brainer that WWE could officially introduce Hikuleo on SmackDown TV next week as part of the Bloodline's next calculated move. His absence from this week's broadcast might have been a deliberate setup for a dramatic reveal. Now with Solo Sikoa rebuilding the Bloodline in his own image in the post-Reigns era, Hikuleo's presence as his personal enforcer is bound to raise eyebrows across the WWE Universe. Does this mean total dominance for Sikoa's faction moving forward, or is Fatu ready to burn it all down? Sound off in the comments. Should Hikuleo become the Bloodline's new secret weapon, or do you see Fatu overcoming the odds? Let us know what you think. This week's SmackDown proved to be a very busy night for John Cena as the pressure grows upon him. His actions have created a growing list of enemies as he was attacked by Ron Killings following promos from Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and LA Knight. He started the show by revealing his master plan for his retirement run, admitting that he knew he could get into Elimination Chamber after not winning the Royal Rumble. He also knew it would be easy to win as Seth Rollins and CM Punk would cost each other, which they did. Cena also reflected on WrestleMania 41, which he felt would be another routine win, as Rhodes was too fixated on The Rock and a desire to be adored by the fans. Cody Rhodes then made his entrance to a thunderous reaction, with the American Nightmare stepping up to remind John Cena that he pinned him at Money in the Bank. Randy Orton wasn't far behind, chiming in to claim that he had Cena beat at Backlash and would have finished the job if given a second longer. But in classic Viper fashion, Orton didn't stop there. He turned his attention to Rhodes and made it crystal clear, if their paths cross in the King of the Ring tournament, friendship won't stand in the way. Orton vowed to go through his longtime ally to get the win, because when it comes to the crown, loyalty takes a backseat to legacy. LA Knight then made his presence known by throwing his opinion in about the King of the Ring tournament, and Cena took this as an opportunity to escape. However, with his back turned, Ron Killings attacked him, and he had to be dragged off the world champion by security. It was a fascinating insight into Cena's heel turn, which has been missing a promo like this from the start, where he broke down his decisions, making it seem like he had everything planned out ahead of time. However, the rest of the segment was predictable as the babyfaces delivered generic, forgettable promos that lasted longer than they had any right to. Cena rolled back the years backstage though, channeling his inner Doctor of Thugonomics as he unleashed a furious rant on Nick Aldis in a heated confrontation, reminding fans that he truly is a different man today. However, Cena's night wasn't done there as he stormed the halls to find Killings, only to end up having an intense meeting with Jey Uso. Unable to find him backstage, Cena returned to the ring later in the night to call out Killings. However, he ended up with CM Punk, who delivered one of the best pipe bombs of his entire career in an unforgettable promo. Punk interestingly avoided the topic of Saudi Arabia, which has been a significant talking point, and was even addressed by Cena himself, with this being a subject that is looming over Punk like a dark cloud. Punk scorched Cena on the microphone, only for Cena to then be attacked yet again by Killings, who almost had the champion tapping as his STF was locked in so tight, as the former R-Truth told him, "The truth hurts," in a chilling moment. It was a frantic night for Cena, and it's clear WWE isn't done with him and Killings. According to WrestleVotes, a rematch between them is now set, and fans won't have to wait long, as it's happening next Friday on SmackDown. Next week's episode of SmackDown is set to be a loaded one, though. The report also claimed that Trish Stratus will be returning, possibly to hype the Evolution event, and the show from Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids, Michigan is set to be one that people simply cannot miss. With Cena looking for payback and Trish's return looming, next week's SmackDown could be a must-see episode. Are you ready for the fallout and the surprises still to come? Let us know what you're most excited from. Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. After the original opening promos, WWE moved swiftly on to a fatal four-way match in the King of the Ring, with Orton and Knight being joined by Carmelo Hayes and Aleister Black. Melo and Black did most of the action early on as they traded shots, and Hayes put in an impressive display as he took the fight to everyone with a flurry of moves. This was an unpredictable match that gave everyone a moment to shine. Still, Hayes was the standout here in what was a breakout performance for him. As such, with his agility and speed ramping up the excitement of the encounter. There was one awkward moment between Black, Orton, and Knight as they seemed to be struggling to figure out what was going on next, yet that didn't take away from what was a fun match. Knight ended up being attacked by Bronson Reed, who pulled him off the top rope as he prepared an elbow drop. However, his night went from bad to worse when Braun Breaker mowed him down with a spear. Melo attempted a frog splash for the win, but instead he ate an RKO from Orton, who was then able to pick the bones and pin Knight to progress. The Viper will now face Sami Zayn in the next round in what is sure to be an exciting match, with the winner earning a place in the final at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, where the overall King of the Ring will gain a world title match at WWE SummerSlam. The in-ring work throughout this one was great, but Knight being cost by Breaker felt very predictable after the SmackDown star got involved in his match this past Monday. Meanwhile, Black was never going to advance as he cannot enter Saudi Arabia due to his tattoos. However, Hayes would have benefited from winning this one, as outside of winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, he hasn't achieved much on the main roster. Orton's win felt predictable after his promo exchange with Cena earlier in the night, which is a shame, as it would have been a good opportunity to push a fresh talent. What's your take on who will win the 2025 King of the Ring tournament? Please share your thoughts and feedback in the comments section below. As previously reported, the real reason Jey Uso dropped the WWE World Heavyweight Championship to Gunther was to set the stage for a marquee clash between the Ring General and Goldberg at next month's Saturday night's main event. While that decision opened doors creatively, not everyone was thrilled with the outcome, especially Rikishi. Speaking candidly on the Off the Top podcast, the WWE Hall of Famer didn't hold back. He voiced his frustration over Jay's 51-day title reign coming to a premature end, and even called for WWE writers to be fired, citing weak creative direction as the main reason his son's reign never reached its full potential. Rikishi reminded fans that Jey Uso has been grinding in WWE for over 16 years, building a Hall of Fame-worthy resume with his brother as one half of the Usos, and now thriving in singles competition. He emphasized that Jey remains one of WWE's top merchandise sellers and continues to bring value to the company. "It's about what's good for business," Rikishi said. "Jey earned that title and gave it everything, but he didn't get the support he needed from creative. No strong opponents, no strong stories, that's not on him." While Rikishi made it clear he has no issue with Gunther personally, he strongly disagreed with the booking decision and questioned whether WWE would have done the same to names like John Cena or Randy Orton. He also highlighted the thunderous "yeet" chants that echoed through Allegiant Stadium at WrestleMania 41, proving Jay's connection with the fans was undeniable. As for Rikishi, the Bloodline legacy, spanning over 75 years, deserved more respect. And in his eyes, what happened to Jey simply didn't sit right. But the story isn't over yet, as in a surprising twist, WWE has thrown Jey Uso right back into the spotlight. When the bracket for this year's King of the Ring tournament was unveiled, fans noticed a mystery participant listed in one of Raw's opening round matchups. Early speculation pointed to Omos, especially after news of his new contract, but the theory was quickly put to rest. Raw GM Adam Pearce announced that the mystery entrant is none other than former World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso. Pearce revealed that he had been holding the spot for either Jey or Gunther, depending on who left Raw with the title. Now, with the belt in Gunther's possession, Jey enters the tournament with a shot at redemption. Uso will face Rusev, Sheamus, and Bronson Reed in a first-round Fatal 4-Way this coming Monday, June 16th on Raw, and if he goes all the way, he'll earn a rematch against Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. Could Jey's redemption arc begin in King of the Ring, or will the odds stack up against him once again? Drop your predictions in the comments. How far do you think he'll go in the tournament? Now, Mr. Iguana has been the talk of the wrestling world following his standout showing at the WWE x AAA Worlds Collide event, but his recent comments may have landed him in hot water. According to Brian Alvarez on the Wrestling Observer newsletter, there's been immediate backstage heat on Iguana after he publicly stated that WWE promised him a direct call-up to the main roster, bypassing NXT entirely. The backlash was swift, and the original interview video was reportedly taken down and re-uploaded with those remarks edited out. The comments came during an interview with Linea Directa TV, where Iguana claimed that due to strong fan interest in surging merchandise sales, WWE informed him he wouldn't be heading to NXT. Instead, they saw him as a main roster-ready star. Iguana added that he had been at the Performance Center recently, even posing for photos with Shawn Michaels, and was told, "You're not going through NXT, you're heading straight to the main roster. Your shirt is the top seller in WWE, and your action figures and trading cards are flying off the shelves." He went on to describe his WWE opportunity as a childhood dream come true, and credited his hometown of Culiacan for his journey, saying, "I'll always have time for my city. Being Culichi is why I'm here." While WWE has shown serious interest in featuring Mr. Iguana on weekly programming, it remains to be seen if his backstage heat will alter any creative plans. One thing is clear, his merch numbers speak for themselves, and he's already proving to be a major draw. Did Mr. Iguana speak from a place of pride, or did he jump the gun and rub people the wrong way? Let us know what you think. Was it confidence or a rookie mishap? There was Queen of the Ring action on this show too, as Jade Cargill faced Piper Niven, Nia Jax, and Michin, with Jax and Niven wiping each other out early on. Commentary reminded fans that Jax eliminated Cargill from the tournament last year on her way to winning the entire thing, yet that was via disqualification, and she didn't get the same luck this time. Niven and Jax formed a brief alliance, only for Michin to wipe out everyone with a moonsault in one of the few memorable spots in an otherwise forgettable and bland match. Jax and Niven did launch Cargill over the announce table into Wade Barrett. However, after pinning Niven with Jaded, the former AEW star had the last laugh and won the match. Elsewhere in the women's division, Miss Money in the Bank Naomi appeared and warned Tiffany Stratton that she could cash in at any point after reminding fans of her "I told you so" moment. Stratton didn't shy away from the situation though, as she dared Naomi to cash in right there and then. Naomi made it clear she's waiting for the champion to be vulnerable. Naomi almost had the perfect moment when Nia Jax attacked Stratton. However, despite having a perfect setup, she opted not to cash in the briefcase at this moment. Naomi obviously wants to play some mind games, even though an immediate cash-in would have sealed her legacy. Instead, she might take a page from Damian Priest's 2023-24 run, or Carmella's from 2017, when they took the time to make history their way. However, it's clear that Stratton is in a vulnerable position, with Jax still targeting her and Naomi lurking around every corner. It'll be difficult for the former NXT star. Fans were treated to a rare match from the Wyatt Six this week, as Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis faced Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, with the rest of the Twisted group watching on from the aisle. The Wyatt Six took control by attacking both men out of the gate, but the Motor City Machine Guns did put up a fight and provided some comeback, which was good to see. However, unsurprisingly, Lumis scored the win with a huge leg drop from the top rope in what was a brief match that was simply about establishing the Wyatts even more. It was clear just how underrated Lumis is though, and hopefully he's going to be getting more opportunities to shine inside the ring moving forward. However, it was also obvious that the ring rust is real, as there were moments when the Wyatts seemed to be reminding themselves how to do everything, with Lumis seeming to forget a few spots. He also looked to Uncle Howdy before the final sequence, almost seeming dazed, although he could have been captivated by his leader in some form of trance. Either way, seeing the group back inside the ring was nice, even if it was a slightly messy match at points. Their presentation is fantastic. Now WWE just needs to ensure their in-ring showings are at the level they should be for such a special group with the potential to do something remarkable in WWE. Charlotte Flair's been trying to get back on top of the women's division ever since returning from injury, and her latest opportunity came in the form of the Queen of the Ring tournament. She was supposed to compete against Chelsea Green, Candice LeRae, and Alexa Bliss on SmackDown, yet Green wasn't in the building. She informed Nick Aldis of this and attempted to get the match postponed. However, he opted to give her spot away to Alba Fire. Fire smartly opted to team with LeRae at the start of the match, only for the Queen to fight back against them and then be taken out by Bliss, who hit a crossbody from the top rope. Bliss then took out everyone with a Tower of Doom, dominating until Flair stuck her in the figure 8 to remind the world of her talent. However, there was one sequence where things looked off, as Flair countered a double back body drop from Fire and LeRae, with everyone seeming to forget the spot. The Queen got back on track though and ended up with Fire in the figure 8 in what became a race against time, as Bliss hit her sister Abigail finisher on LeRae and pinned her before Fire tapped out, stealing the win from underneath Flair to add to her growing frustrations. The match might have been more predictable than the other semifinal on SmackDown, but the in-ring work was more impressive, with Bliss being the highlight. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes have been kept apart for the most part in WWE, however, they ran into each other backstage during this show and made it clear they will face each other down the line. We're ending today with the American Nightmare trying to book his place in the King of the Ring semifinals as he faced Andrade, Damian Priest, and Shinsuke Nakamura in the show's main event. Nakamura continued to display his heel character by attempting to leave the ring immediately, but Rhodes nailed him with a suicide dive to showcase how fired up he was in the moment, while Andrade and Priest brawled in the ring. They were given a lot of time to end the show, and that allowed all four men to get their stuff in with nothing about the match feeling rushed. The odds were stacked against Rhodes when he was put through one of WWE's newly sponsored Slim Jim tables, which felt like it was added to the match to simply plug the sponsor. However, the former undisputed WWE champion fought his way back into the match and pinned Nakamura after a crossroads. He'll now face the winner of the Fatal 4-Way, which will be between Sheamus, Bronson Reed, Rusev, and Jey Uso. Just like the other King and Queen of the Ring matches on this show, Rhodes winning was never in doubt, especially with the match closing out the entire show. Outside of a shocking return costing him, he was never going to lose to the others in this match. The match was great though, and it reminded fans just how talented Nakamura and Andrade are, which was a positive to take from this. It does feel like WWE isn't getting the best out of this tournament though, as Rhodes is likely going to end up facing Jey Uso in the semifinals. Rhodes can get a title shot whenever he wants, while Uso literally just dropped the world title, which is why fans wanted to see some outsiders such as Hayes get a chance to advance. What did you make of SmackDown overall this week, and what was your highlight segment of the night? Let us know in the comments.